Welcome to Module 9 of the Freedom Ticket. This is the last module before we really get into the nitty-gritty. It's the last module of week 1. So congratulations on making it this far already. You know, a lot of people that sign up for courses, they don't actually always go through the entire course. They start the course, life gets in the way, they get busy. But I want to applaud you at least making it this far, and I hope that you can make it through all 7 weeks of the course. Now, I know sometimes there's people that they've got a week off of work or they got some vacation time. Like, man, I wish I didn't have to wait 7 weeks. Unfortunately, you have to wait. This is dripped out over time because we want you to be able. There's so much information. We want you to be able to digest it, take advantage of it, and implement some of the stuff. You know, the problem is a lot of people, probably 90 to 95% of the people that take a course like the Freedom Ticket or any of the other ones that we told you that are good courses back in one of the earlier modules. You remember we listed in case you missed it. If you go back to like module 1, there's actually a link there to some other courses. Those are paid courses that you have to pay for, but they're from some of the other good people in the business that have some good alternative ways of looking at things and different ways of doing stuff. So if you take a look at those, if you're interested or not, if you're going to do that, make sure you actually complete it, because most people that take these courses, they hop from course to course or they never implement. You've got to implement. You've got to be, I want you to be one of those 10% of the people that actually launches a product that takes a course. You know, remember earlier we said there's 6 million accounts on Amazon. People sign up for an account, but only 2.5 million are selling anything. There's a lot of people that set up an account, had good intentions, but they never do anything. If you don't start, you can't start your path to freedom. This is called the Freedom Ticket for a purpose, for a reason. This is your ticket. You're punching your ticket to get that freedom, that financial freedom, that freedom in your life that you deserve, and to build a business that hopefully you're going to be able to sell someday. I mean, this is, you've got to do this. So I can't, you've got to take action. Now, one of the things that I like to do while you're waiting is you may be like, how can we get some more information? Or, where's some other places that I can learn? You know, one of the things that I do, people say, Kevin, how do you stay on top of stuff all the time? Well, one thing is I'm selling. So I'm in there every day. I'm in several different groups. But I want to share with you some of the best places you can go if you haven't done it yet. You know, Helium 10 actually has probably, I think it is actually the top rated podcast, the most downloaded podcast. It originally started with Manny. Manny Coates is one of the co-founders of Helium 10 back. And I've known Manny for like 4 years, since the beginning, since the early days, back when it was just him and Guillermo working out of their house. And now it's a huge company. It's the leader in the industry. And he had a podcast called the AM PM podcast. And I remember listening to that first one back in like 2015, I think it was. And I was like, this guy sounds like he's really cool. He had like a really good, straightforward approach, some really good information. Now, Manny only occasionally does the podcast now. He's not doing it on a regular basis, but periodically he will do an update. But there's hundreds of past episodes. So if you just go and search AM PM podcast on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever your favorite tool is, you can find some of the old ones. There's still some great information in there. Now, some of it is dated. So some of the like practical hands-on, do this, do this, do this. You got to be careful. But there's still some good information that you can listen to in that podcast and really help you while you're waiting. But if you want the current, most latest, greatest stuff, the best one is the Serious Sellers podcast. Now, Bradley Sutton has taken that over for Helium 10. He's doing an excellent job. There's like 1 or 2 of these coming out every single week. It's like the latest stuff. He's got some of the best people in the industry coming and talking. He's interviewing different sellers from beginners to experienced people. There's tactics and tips, all kinds of cool stuff in there. It's the Serious Sellers podcast. So go and download that and start listening. Go back to episode 1 if you haven't, and listen all the way through. You'll hear me on there. You'll hear a few other people. There's also some other podcasts that I listen to that if you want to check down in the link section, the notes section of this module, you'll see a few of the others that I recommend that I listen to that also might help you round out everything too. The other thing I do is I do a lot of Facebook groups. Now you got to be careful. There's a lot of really bad information in some of these Facebook groups. There's a lot of people that I call them parrots. They'll go in there and someone will say, this is the way something works. And all of a sudden it becomes gospel. And it's repeated across that Facebook group and other Facebook groups. And there's nothing further from the truth. And it really irritates me. And that's actually how I originally met Manny Coates from Helium 10 back several years ago. Because his group is called the FBA High Rollers. And that's a group that I really recommend if you're not already in that. It's 65, 70,000 people strong and growing. It's one of the biggest groups out there for Amazon sellers. go into that group and take a look at what people are saying. There's some good information, but just keep in mind there's also a little bit of incorrect information sometimes. But that's not Helium-10's fault. That's just the users out there. There's a lot of people that aren't selling that act like they're selling, or a lot of people that act like they're a guru that don't know their rear from a hole in the ground. You know, a few years ago on the High Rollers group, there was a post that was made on there from one of these guys that doesn't know anything, and I commented on this post, and Manny saw that, and then we added a few more things, and Manny's like, hey, this guy actually might know what he's talking about. He reached out to me, and I actually then came on the podcast, and it went from there. If you want to check out one of the little bonus sections that Bradley and I have done here for the Freedom Ticket, you can check out one of those little bonus modules, a little bit more background on that for you. But you got to be careful in these groups. I mean, another group that's really good, since you're using the Helium-10 software, is the Helium-10 Users Group. The Helium-10 Users Group on Facebook is a great group where you can ask very specific questions on things about Helium-10. Bradley goes on there and does these AMAs, Ask Me Anythings, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes at like odd hours of the night. I don't know, the guy never sleeps. But you can go in there and ask different questions, as well as he and I are going to be doing one of those a month for you. Everybody that's a Freedom Ticket member, you'll get a special link. And so you can actually come and every month, Bradley and I will be on there together. We'll answer questions and stuff for you guys. It's part of your membership. And so check those things out, and make sure if you don't even do that, make sure you at least check me and Bradley out on the AMAs that we do once a month, and then check Bradley out on his AMAs too. Now, there's another thing that I have to remind you of is there is a grind here. I mean, when you're starting your Amazon business, it's a lot of information. You're learning a lot of stuff. You're like, oh, you can feel overwhelmed. You can be like, oh my God, there's so much here. What do I do? Where do I start? Just remember, it is a grind in the beginning. When I first started, it was like I was developed full time to it. I was working like 14 hours a day for like 3, 4, 5 months, just immersing myself, learning as much as I can. I don't have to do quite that much anymore. So just remember, there is a grind in the beginning, but it does get easier, and does get you get systems and stuff in place. And a lot of people will try to do multitasking. Multitasking, it's been proven, is super harmful. I mean, you really need to go on what I call focus, Focus. Focus. What focus stands for is follow one course until successful. So the F in focus is follow, then the one course until successful. And really do that. Don't try to multitask and do all these things and set up a Shopify store and set up a Walmart account and do it. Just focus. Don't get caught up with, oh my gosh, I need to learn ManyChat. I need to learn Facebook ads. I need to learn this. Just focus on those 4 core things that we talked about earlier, and don't give up. Don't give up on this business. Take everything as a learning step. So even if you fail, even if you lose a little bit of money, even if something bad happens to you, don't think that, oh, that's the end of the world and this doesn't work. Use that as a learning step, and it's going to really help you succeed. And make sure you know your goals. You know, we talked about that in one of the other modules. What's your goal in this? Make sure you know what your true goals are. Some people call it your why. Why are you doing this? What is your ultimate goal? Is it to build a huge business? Is it to sell it? Is it to make a little extra money? What is your actual goal in this business? And the longer your vision of success, I can tell you there's so many people that want to get rich quick. This is not a get rich quick scheme. You know, 4 or 5 years ago in 2013, 2014, some of those time periods, people would launch a product on Amazon and it seems like they got rich overnight. It's because some of them did. But those days are long gone. The longer your vision of success, the more successful that you're probably going to be. So if you can have that mindset, you can master it. So I just want to remind you of these things, and I want to wish you the best of success. I'm here to help you. I want to give you the information to succeed. I want to make sure you have the right mindset to go forward. And with that in mind, I can't wait to get you into the next module, into next week's module, where we're going to start really going into the nitty-gritty of how to do this business. So I will see you then, and have a great rest of your day and week.